The seas around us have been a pervasive and decisive factor in the history of our country. With landlocked borders to the north, India's peninsular coastline, located on the east-west sea route, highlights her maritime status and her vulnerability to incursions by foreign sea powers. The lives of our coastal people have always been closely linked with the waters of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. The Indian coastline extends over 6,000 kilometers. The island territories of the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago lie to the east and those of Lakshadweep to the west. Along this peninsular coastline, there are as many as 10 major and 185 minor ports actively engaged in foreign-going and coastal trade. The Indian merchant fleet today consists of 340 ocean-going ships having a tonnage of over 6 million tons. Quite apart from trade, India has a major economic stake in the seas around her. We possess the largest exclusive economic zone in the Indian Ocean, wherein lies a substantial volume of the world's mineral and living assets. We have received a pioneer status in seabed mining, and the Department of Ocean Development is exploring the locations of recoverable minerals. All these interests, therefore, make it vital for India to have a strong navy to ensure the freedom of the seas around her and to foster the peaceful development of the country's ocean potential. To have a strong navy, it is imperative to have a well-trained, ambitious, and disciplined cadet, because it is he who will ultimately be at the helm of affairs in time to come as an officer in the Indian Navy. The Southern Naval Command at Cochin in Kerala has been entrusted with the responsibility of training the entire Indian Navy. The Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command, Vice Admiral G.M. Hiranandani, expresses his views of the training aspect in the Southern Naval Command.
Very recently, the Southern Naval Command has been entrusted with the responsibility for coordinating the training of all officers and men of ships of the Navy. Modern warships are increasingly fitted with more and more complex equipment. The operation and maintenance of this equipment requires intensive training in shore establishments. The Navy's shore establishments spread from Gujarat in the west to Orissa in the east and Kerala in the south. These training establishments are fitted with equipment identical to that fitted in our ships, so as to ensure that our officers and men are thoroughly confident in their knowledge of the ship's equipment. The Southern Naval Command is also responsible for the coastal defense of the maritime states of Goa, Karnataka, and Kerala. This coastal defense is exercised through the naval officers in charge at Goa, Karwar, Mangalore, Cochin, and Lakshadweep. The ships based at Cochin include frigates of the training squadron, in which naval cadets from the National Defense Academy and the Naval Academy go on training cruises to ports in India and the Indian Ocean. There is an old saying, "In peace, train for war." The Southern Naval Command ensures that every single officer and man is thoroughly trained to win whenever and wherever the Navy is called upon to defend the country.
A cadet's day starts well before sunrise with the hands call. Quickly through his ablutions, he's ready for all the challenges he would encounter later that day. A sound mind in a sound body. The color hoisting ceremony on board INS Tir, time 0800. The Chief of Staff, Rear Admiral P.P. Sivamani, plans the exercises in consultation with the Command Operations and Planning Officer, and later on briefs the officers concerned.
The minesweepers are to sail at 10:30 and be in position 270 Cochin Light. 3 match roll helicopters will be airborne at 11:30, and they should be in the area of operation by 11:40.
The Chetaks of the Helicopter Training School of INS Garuda at Cochin. Pilots, after graduating from flying clubs and the Air Force Academy, are trained in helicopter flying in this squadron. The Islander Squadron of INS Garuda. Naval pilots on graduation are appointed to this squadron for further training in fixed-wing flying of multi-engine aircraft. This squadron also imparts training to the observers, who are basically flight navigators. In addition, this squadron is also entrusted with the responsibility of maritime reconnaissance duties, search and rescue duties, communication link, strike homing, exclusive economic zone patrols, and anti-poaching operations. Ships of the Southern Naval Command leaving harbor in accordance with the exercise training program. Marks of respect being exchanged among ships, which is a part of the naval ceremonials. The Chief of Staff, the officer in Tactical Command, embarked on one of the minesweepers. The ceremonial guard being paraded, while INS Tir, the cadet training ship, leaves harbor.
Half ahead, port. Port, half ahead, sir. Port, half ahead, starboard station, 35 of south long, sir.
Both engines fluid, 15 of star belong, sir.
Cadets being trained at the art of ship handling.
Revolution 100.
Revolution 100, repeat, sir.
Hang on.
Astronavigation training in progress. Taking a fix. Look out on the alert.
Craft bearing red 30, angular side 20.
Action stations. The cadets being trained on the 4060 mounting to engage air targets. The Chetak on a search and rescue mission.
From the nearest telephone and confirm receipt of my last orders.
Mission accomplished. Deck landing in progress on a moving ship.
Delhi 165, sir. Very good.
Captain giving orders for ship to be stopped for seaboat's evolution. Seaboats are exercised to keep the cadet abreast with the procedure of rescue of survivors at sea, including men overboard. Nothing can be more testing than a session of coordinated hand pulling, especially on the high seas. Knowledge is power, says the law of life. Cadets get classroom instructions that acquaint them with the mysteries of the sea, imparts to them professional knowledge, and adds to their general awareness and mental flexibility. Extra care is taken to provide a nutritious diet to the cadet after a hard day's work. The cadets' gunroom and library on board the ship provide them with a variety of recreational facilities. Back again in the operations room on their assigned duties. Apart from the training at sea, the men of the Navy have to undergo shore-based training as well, which is imparted in the various schools situated in the naval base Cochin. To begin with, we have the diving school. A totally physically oriented training is imparted to the budding frogmen in order to have the toughest, both in mind and body.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 10. Guys, lie down on back, facing towards me. Exercise position, place. 10 flutters followed by 10 hello darlings. Exercise with me. Come on. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3.
A 1 kilometer mud walk with weighted boots forms a part of the divers' training. Jumping from heights in excess of 15 meters overcomes the initial hesitation to step out. A 5-kilometer swim on surface as well as underwater in the fast-flowing channel builds up the necessary stamina and endurance required. Professional traits being displayed by the divers from a fast-moving Gemini craft. Diving in a hostile environment has more than its fair share of risks. Life in this hazardous profession is often interrupted by accidents, but the divers and the medical teams are totally geared up to meet any such eventuality. The diver being repressurized in the recompression chamber. Fighting fit once again to resume duties. The aquanauts of the Indian Navy are also trained for salvage operations like underwater cutting and welding. The Signal School is situated in Cochin since 1958 and is the alma mater of the communication branch of the Indian Navy.
Communication.
The success or failure in any naval operation or other activities depends on the timely and smooth exchange of orders and information between the commanders and the forces under them. The visual signaling forms an integral part of communications between the ships at sea. The communication personnel are trained for day as well as nighttime reception of visual communications. Training is also imparted to personnel of foreign navies. Operation of various equipment used on board ships are also taught to these trainees. Semaphore drill in progress. Every position of the flag spells out an alphabet or a number. Mastering the techniques of maneuvers at sea through fleet work training procedure.
Speed 10. Down.
The training is imparted through the latest techniques available. Here is a computerized system which can develop various situations in an operation and provide opportunity to the trainees to have a feel of the realistic situation at sea.
This is 01, Roger, out.
The Anti-Submarine Warfare School, in short known as the ASW School, is the alma mater for training officers and sailors of the Indian Navy in specialized skills of underwater warfare, which includes search, detection, and destruction of enemy submarines.
Chart available, we will find out the various temperatures at the various depths. Now this is fed to the...
Once the enemy submarine has been located underwater, self-guided weapons called torpedoes are used to destroy it. This rocket launcher hurls heavy projectiles stuffed with high explosive to great distances to kill the submarine. The Navigation Direction School is the premier establishment of the Indian Navy for imparting professional training in precise navigation of ships and control and direction of fighter aircrafts and helicopters. The art of navigation is the quintessential feature of seafaring, and being in the right place at the right time and taking the right course of action is the philosophy of navigation. This establishment is named after Guru Dronacharya, a wise preceptor who instructed the great warriors of the Mahabharata in the art of weaponry. The commanding officer, Captain Shah, speaks.
The aim of my establishment is to make the trainees competent to handle guns and missiles, and also the sophisticated systems that control these. Not only that, we also train them and lay the foundation which will help them to absorb the advancing weapon technology that is to be introduced in the service.
The parade ground continues to dominate the lives of those under instructions. Practice makes a man perfect, and it is this precision that each individual in Dronacharya is striving for.
Detail, pick up carbines. Open, fire.
It is not always that the Navy fights on the high seas. In the 1961 Goa operations, a landing party from INS Dronacharya, then known as the Gunnery School, successfully captured Anjadeep Island off the coast of Karwar under stiff resistance from the Portuguese.
Alarm missile port. Lookout bearing red 90. 4060. Engage.
Training at the Southern Naval Command is a never-ending process.